The anime begins with a girl called Gyuri and claims to be introducing herself and telling Sage that if he does not kiss anyone, he will die. B ignores and closes the door, but the girl crosses him like a ghost in the room. Gyuri presents to be a notebook where the name of the person who is written must kiss someone 24 hours is the famous Death Note, and romantic or chain game owner of the notebook will die did and throws her out of the house. She begs for his help to not surrendered by fatigue. 6 let her in. After this, she explains again that he only needs to kiss someone to help. Say is shy because it is his first kiss, but thinking that the person he should kiss is her, so he goes off and kisses her. He explains that he should kiss someone else and not her. If he doesn't kiss someone for 24 hours he will be a virgin for the rest of his life. In other words, it was a bad choice. She offers him to kiss another guy, but he, ashamed, refuses. The two of them go to school to find someone to kiss. For 6, he sees a girl running with her melons moving up and down. When he realizes that he is staring at the girl with the melons, she approaches him to talk to him. In the middle of the conversation he wonders whether Hayama could see or not, and to prove that he couldn't, the girl pulls down Hayama's pants, leaving his underwear showing. Ryama asks 6 whose girl was wearing a cosplay. The Gu go into despair trying to explain what happened, until Gyuri mentions the fact that he kissed her. This leaves the Ray bruised, extremely angry. It turns into the famous crazy tsundere in animes, and she says she is going to execute him for jumping the fence. 6 of scared says that the two of them were not dating, and she retorts with 2 knives in her hands, saying that she could not change part to top 6 and with the knives, but pushes him to the side, saving but getting a knife stuck in the middle of the head. Yama is surprised she is still alive after this, and to see 6 together again part to top her, and the two run away. Ask safe and could put her name the same sheet as his name was to solve the problem, but when she was going to answer his question she ended up getting stabbed in the back by Ryama. Ryama explains that she always knew she already loved him but was waiting for him to declare himself to her, something that would take a long time, right? Because the protagonist doesn't have any initiative, and suddenly he shows up with a girl repenting and that he should have proposed earlier, but Ryama doesn't accept since now he has already kissed Gyuri. So she will have to execute her, but just as she was about to punch the width and brings the two together and makes them kiss, she that all couples formed by the notebook get married, and after that she reveals herself as a cupid who was just doing a cosplay. Yamaha is happy to know that she would be together 6 and forever, but is surprised when the kid also kisses him to be part of the couple and says that he wants to know more of the feeling he is feeling for her. In other words, it will become an open relationship. The famous Trisal. She goes to his house and tells him that she will live there, since she is now mission lovers. I know, and is reluctant about the idea, but is convinced by Coralie, Curry's supervising angel, who has taken over his cat's body. It is Vision to Sykes's school and find Ryama, whom he already starts stabbing. While hugging, Coralie says she needs to talk to them. She says that it is unusual for an angel and a human to date, and thanks to this she made Hayama become an angel temporarily, and if she doesn't work with them, they will lose their souls, so he schools her and asks the two of them to help Polari to the sky. Igor Siege accidentally meet on the stairs after he has run away from his room. As Siege explains why she ran away, Siege kisses him. She is seen by a blonde girl who was at the top of the stairs, another one for the protagonist's Rarum. The girl almost falls, but Ci catches her. She thought he was a manipulative pervert. The girl takes the notebook and runs away. Siege goes to the roof to get the notebook back, but a bubble pops and breaks the place where the girl was, and he jumps to save her, but after falling, she ends up on top of him, which ends up annoying Ryama. When she sees this, the girl runs away with the notebook, but Ryama goes after her. They go after her and find both of them, and when Ryama appears to go towards her to attack her, a barrier appears and saves her. After escaping again, Sage Gyuri finds her while she was trying to write her name in the notebook. The girl explains that she heard the notebook's power mentioned the day before, that's why she wanted to try it. When she finds it, she goes on the girl again, but she remains paralyzed. When iPad stops to stop, calling her by her first name, Yuzo goes to Ryama and says that she only likes Sage for the notebook. That is, she has no real interest in him, it's just the notebook, and he says he loves Shema, but she rejects it, after all, and Yu's her sister, and she says she loves him even without the notebook, and Yu asks how she would then be about her feelings. Gyuri to solve this adds in the couple writing his name and in the notebook and to be part of the couple, and Yuz runs towards Ryama to kiss her but ends up tripping over a stone and kissing the next day at the house of. He argued with his sister for her leaving school early while at school, and Yuz Igur did a program where people in love say their name and the name of their partner to get kisses from the loved one, being that this has never really happened. Ryan but CG complain about what the two are doing, and they charge them for not forming couples. So the two of them go out looking for couples in love, taking the notebook with them. While walking through the corridors, the two of them bump into a girl. Her name was Mari, and she was the representative of her class. Apparently another one for honor. Yamaha says that she seems to like someone and that she can help her if this is really happening, but she says that the opposite is happening. Meanwhile, they try to decipher a love poem that fell on the window of the room they were in, and after that they decide that they will find the person who wrote this poem. The professor accuses them and appears at the door desperately looking for a sheet of paper. They start to question him if he was in love, but in the middle of everything they arrive and tell the professor that Mari was taking the boxes to his classroom and that they were too heavy for her. The professor's face totally red with embarrassment, because the two are probably in love with each other. He ends up falling backwards from being so nervous. Mario corrects and straightens him up, seeing him all messed up, and realizes that the person the professor is in love with is Mari, and begins to think that the person she doesn't want to go out with is the professor. Gyuri tries to have a meeting to get the professor and Mari together, but he goes against this attempt, so they decide to observe the feelings of both, until it is convinced, and then they take an attitude. Gyuri goes out to find an answer, and since they didn't have the notebook, they started questioning the professor in the transmission room. And of course they would have to tie him up too, telling him to shout to the whole school that he loves Mari. But the teacher says he can't do that and runs away. Seiji calls Mari to talk about the teacher and asks her how she feels about him. Mari says that teacher and student dating is a soap opera thing. She is shy, agrees, saying that the teacher looks like her older brother. But the teacher was listening to all that in an adjoining room, and he remembers that he fell in love with her after she read one of his letters and didn't think it was weird and complimented him. He goes and meets the teacher in the school hallway, but the middle of their conversation is interrupted by Ioso, who comes running to warn that Mari is being held hostage. He then runs to help her. He was planning the kidnapping by sea and in disguise, but he ends up bumping into her, and coincidentally two robbers leave the bank at the same time the two were passing by, and they take them hostage. The professor and the others arrive to save them and encourage them to save Mari. But in the middle of their conversation the bandits get angry and end up shooting at Mari, who is saved by Sage. The professor goes up to the bandit and with Mari's help manages to punch him, surprising everyone. His punch was incredibly weak and ends up annoying the thieves who were about to shoot the professor. Professor really is not the protagonist of this anime. His power is below zero. Enough. He gets hurt, he gets angry with the thieves and beats them both. Moved by all the confusion, the professor holds her hand and says that after they are no longer professor and student, he will propose to her, but she says that this was always his intention, since the beginning, and that she also liked him. Mari explains that she didn't want to go out with him now, but that she had never said what she didn't like about him, because she would like to graduate and have a stability before so that they can live well and without busyness. Since teachers don't earn very well, Yuzo thanks him for saving her, but says she still doesn't recognize him as her sister's partner, and Ryama runs for 6 trying to get away from the storm of reporters on her.